Well, joining me now is One Nation leader, Senator Pauline Hanson. Senator, thank you very much for joining me on the show. I want to start with the Prime Minister's visit to China. There's obviously plenty of issues to be raising here. While he's over there, Taiwan, escalating military strength in the Indo-Pacific, trade disputes, the Port of Darwin. But so far, the Prime Minister's gone for tourism, sport, and decarbonising steel today. I've got to say, Senator, listening to the Prime Minister's press conferences, he didn't seem to have a position on anything, one-word salad after the other. Was only really comfortable talking about steel and iron ore. What does it say about this Prime Minister?
I think it's a junket trip. And I'd like to know if all these CEOs are paying for their own way over there and their own accommodation, or is it on the taxpayer? It's to see Twiggy Forrest over there and pushing this green, green steel and all the rest of it. We can't produce it. They've shut down a lot of the companies here, the hydrogen here. So it's just ridiculous to be pushing this. What's China going to do about it? China is the biggest emitter in the world with over 30% of carbon emissions. And he's pushing this. To do green hydrogen or make green steel, it costs you more in electricity. And our electricity prices, now every household out there knows that their electricity price has gone up, where they said they'd save $275 a year off their electricity bills going back 4 years ago. But now they're paying $1,000 more now than what they were. So it's all ridiculous. It's all pie in the sky stuff. He talks about tourism as well, for these people to come out to Australia. I just think that it's been a waste of time, and he goes there for 6 days, yet he can't make the trip. Well, he went to the USA, which he says, but he was on the West Coast, and he didn't get to see Donald Trump, who is an ally, and we're in an AUKUS agreement with them, and yet he's there towing to Xi Jinping. I just don't get it. He's not a leader of this nation. And talk about the Darwin Port, Danica. The Darwin Port Land Bridge Group that owned the Darwin Port, right? That is a private company. It is a billionaire that's bought it. Yi Chang, he owns it. Now, he's a billionaire. Yi Chang has close ties to the Chinese Communist Party. Why is Albanese then wanting to speak to the Xi Jinping about the Chinese port when it's a privately owned company? Why isn't he talking to Yi Chang about it? So why is he having to go to the president over this? So you've got to ask those questions as well. The port should never have been sold in the first place. And if they'd got their act together, and it was about $130 million, the port was in disrepair, no one in Australia and the government at the time wouldn't loan them the money to repair the port, so they went in and on the world market and allowed the Chinese to buy it. It should have been stopped by the Foreign Investment Review Board right from the very beginning. Poor governance in this country. That's why we're in the hell of a mess that we are. And we've got the most poor governance that we have under Albanese, and he talks about national security. He hasn't given a defining, to the Americans. Will he support Australia and the Americans if war breaks out with China and Taiwan, with China taking over Taiwan? What are we going to do about the subs? Will the Americans give us the subs now? Because our Prime Minister won't give, a defining, where he stands with this. And I think that the Americans have a right to know.
And, I think you raise a good point. To me, you're right. This is a junket. He's gone over there to China on nothing more than a junket. And just to expand on what you said there, he was asked today if there's been any progress on a meeting with Donald Trump, and he said his focus is on China. He was asked about the Pentagon's request for a position on Taiwan. He said his focus is on China. We've got Chinese spy ships circling again because of Talisman Sabre. The Prime Minister today said, well, there's nothing unusual about it. So, Senator, you've got to wonder what the US must be thinking right now.
Exactly right. He's an absolute joke. Our national security is in one hell of a state at the moment because I don't trust the Prime Minister that we have. He's where he's leading us. And I think we as a nation, and myself as a member of Parliament elected by the people, have a right to know what his thoughts are, where we are headed with this. And I'd like to see the opposition step up and say, ask more questions with regards to this. We have a right to know.
Absolutely, we have a right to know. I think you're absolutely spot on. I want to move on now to a leaked Treasury report, which has revealed that Labor was advised to hike taxes and slash spending in order to balance the country's books after this year's election, though Jim Chalmers didn't seem to mind.
And what's happened here is a Treasury official has sent those documents in error. That sort of thing happens from time to time. I'm pretty relaxed about it, to be honest.
Well, I mean, whether the Treasurer is relaxed about it or not, the PM certainly shouldn't be, given he's on the record boasting about how meaningful his promises on tax policy are.
I believe that when you go to an election and you make commitments, you should stick to them. My word is my bond.
Senator, so the Treasurer is relaxed. Albo's word is his bond. Can Labor be trusted on taxes?
No, and I've said that all along. The only way to run a country is based on prosperity and productivity. Now, both of those are on the decline. The other way is through taxes. Now, they're indicated that with superannuation tax on unrealised gains, and what's going to happen there is it's hidden within the legislation that the Treasurer will have the right to increase or change it at his whim whenever it suits him. That is very concerning to Australian people. I believe that taxes will go up. They'll get the support of the Greens. Greens really want to hit people in this country because they say, oh, because you've got the money, you're rich, you should be paying. Yet we allow people to sit on a welfare system in this country for more than 5, 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years, and we don't question about their contributing to this country, but we just keep paying them welfare and expect those who got out there, got themselves a job, got themselves a decent job, and have to pay the taxes, excessive taxes, to support these people who want to sit on their backside and do nothing in this country. I've had a gutful of it. I'm sick and tired of it. I don't mind helping those who want the help, but people who think it's their right, God-given right, to sit around and get, welfare assistance, rent assistance, health assistance, everything, and not made to work after 20 or 30 years on it, I have a real problem with that. So Chalmers has to put on that act, Danica, because it's blasé, well, so what, these things happen. But the truth has been let out. They've pushed this 1.2 million homes. It's unrealised. It's never going to happen. They went into this election. They knew it. Economists and myself and others on the floor of Parliament have told them that their spending was out of control. The homes would never be built, but they took the lie to the Australian people, and that's what they won this election on. People have a right. They are deceitful, they're liars. They won this election through lies and deceit, and I believe that they should be actually questioned over the whole lot.
Yeah, absolutely, and even the master builders have been warning for so long that they just don't have the manpower to get to this record number of homes that Labor wants to build. We don't have the utensils right now, so it's been a joke from the beginning. Before I let you go, Nationals MP Barnaby Joyce has vowed to introduce a private members bill in an attempt to end Labor's net zero policies. Here he was on Danica and James last night. Have a listen.
I've been fighting for this for so long, but I think it's got to a point where we've actually got to say, OK, let's see where we vote. Or more to the point, if you don't even want to vote, if you don't even you're so courageous about the climate, but you won't even have the debate in the Parliament. I believe they won't even have the debate in the Parliament.
Well, Senator, I say good on him. What do you think?
Yep. So do I. Good on him, because that's been my policy right from day one. Get rid of it, get out of the Paris Agreement. So good on Barnaby. You know what? I doubt whether he'll get a seconder to it. And if he does, they'll probably be thrown out of the party. You know what, Barnaby? Come over to my party, because we need people like you with backbone to stand up and fight these issues. You won't get from your so-called colleagues, because they haven't got the backbone to actually stand up for Australian people in the way this country is going down the bloody drain. So, no problems. And I hope if One Nation was there on the lower house, we'd be there standing beside him, supporting him.
Well, there you go. The offer stands. If Barnaby Joyce is watching tonight, the offer stands to head over to One Nation. I guess now that he's no longer on the bench, you never know what might happen. Senator Pauline Hanson, always nice to chat with you. Thank you very much for your time on the show this evening. Really appreciate it.